Howdy and welcome back to the channel, my friends. It's always a good video, or you know it's going to be a good video when you're starting things off by airing down the tires. We're currently just outside of Silverton, Colorado. We left from South Fork and drove all the way around through Pagosa Springs, through Durango, and then up to Silverton. And we are off of a Forest Service road currently, and we're about to head out for the next 2 to 3 days. I think we're planning on being off-road, which is why I took advantage of airing down the tires so that way you don't have to work so hard on the suspension, and makes driving a little bit more enjoyable. This road that we're actually going to go venture down was recommended by one of you guys, so big shout out to you, man. If you're watching this video, I think you know who you are. You had sent me a whole list and a map of stuff to do here around Silverton, so thank you so much, dude. And we're both very excited to get out here and find a campsite. So that's the plan. We're gonna head beyond where most of the traffic goes, and we're gonna look for some dispersed camping down yonder. My favorite sign on planet Earth, 4-wheel drive recommended. Typically means there's no big campers and RVs beyond this point, so off to find camp. This has to be the absolute coolest place I've ever brought this Tacoma. I mean, look at this. What an absolutely stunning view. And I did put it in 4-low and lock in the hubs just because there's been a couple rocky sections. And honestly, going uphill in first gear and 2-wheel, it tends to want to stall out. So being in 4-low helps a lot. But we just ran into a couple in a Jeep who said if we just keep heading this way, though, it opens up and there's plentiful sights to be had. So here we go. So we just found our beautiful campsite. Absolutely surrounded by wonderful peaks. Oh, can't beat it. And we do have some really nice neighbors who were kind of like invading a little bit on their space, but we asked them if it was cool. They were very nice about it. They're from Texas. Had a little chat, and yeah, just mountain peaks everywhere. Snow covered, or not covered, but let me darken you up a little bit here. Look at that. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Honestly feels like in the movie The Sound of Music. We're like on like the Swiss Alps or something, but we're just gonna chill for this evening. So we're gonna have some leftover Mexican. And
he hasn't cooked a single meal on this trip.
Is that right?
Yes.
I made the salad. Yeah, she's been head chef. I've been not even like a sous chef. So I guess the plan now is just to hang out, and then tomorrow I think we're gonna, no, I'm not even gonna say I think, we're definitely gonna make it up to an Alpine lake because it looks absolutely stunning, and we're at about 10,600 feet at this spot. Absolutely top tier campsite, the best campsite either of us have ever camped at. And last year we were both saying the Grand Tetons in Wyoming was our best site. And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't even compete with this. Just being at this altitude and then absolutely surrounded by different peaks. We've got this red rock, we've got an old mining site, and then I'm not snow capped, but there's still snow on these mountains. It's just absolutely awesome. And then I didn't really get to show you guys earlier, but there's a whole creek running, or a river running right beside us here. So just, I don't think it gets much better than this. Lost for words, but tonight we're just gonna figure out how to stay warm because it's probably gonna get down into the 30s. If not, I'm wondering if it's gonna be in the high 20s because we were at a lower elevation last night and it got definitely into the 30s and it was pretty chilly. So tonight might be a little bit more cold. Nothing we can't handle, but never thought I would need a diesel heater in, what are we, almost July in Colorado? So tomorrow we're gonna wake up. I think we're gonna try and fish this river here. Great place to fly fish. Probably not great to use a spinning reel, but I'll get my lure wet anyways and see what happens. And then tomorrow we're gonna probably either, two things are gonna happen. We're either gonna hang out here just because we had this awesome spot, fish. I really need to edit some videos because I'm trying to stay on these uploads for you guys as quickly as possible while we're still traveling all over Colorado, which has been quite a challenge, but trying to keep them uploaded. So we're either gonna hang out here tomorrow or we may venture up and hit up the Alpine Lake. Thank you. The Alpine Lake. It's a cool off-road trail with a bunch of switchbacks, and we may or may not be able to camp up there. It would be so cool if we could, but we also might be able to fish, which would be really neat. So that's kind of the plan. And yeah, I don't want to divulge too much as to what's going to happen after that because I like to keep you guys on edge. So hope you guys are enjoying the Colorado content as much as we are enjoying living it because it is stunning. And if you are, leave a thumbs up. Really trying to grow this channel. Really trying to put out some good quality content here. So a thumbs up goes a long way. So I realize on this entire trip, I haven't done a beer review with you guys. And when we were down in Silverton, I picked up these guys, the Modest Hopperandi India Pale Ale from Ska Brewing out of Durango, Colorado. Get you in here for a closer look. Hopefully that focuses. As you guys know, I always like to try local stuff when I find it. So we'll get a nose. It smells quite hoppy. And a little foam test. Stunning. Just like this campsite. Indeed, it's good. I would rate that for an IPA, probably like an 8.5 out of 10. I feel like I hand out a lot of 8.5s, but I don't like to knock anybody, you know, that's their craft. It is really good beer. I would say it's very piney for an IPA, which feels proper being at high altitude surrounded by a bunch of trees. And well, do you know what kind of trees these are?
No. Just like an evergreen or something.
Yeah, something like an evergreen. Maybe evergreens. They smell great. Goes nicely with the beer. Tonight, leftover Mexican, and might even try and set up the camera and get like some stars. I've been trying to do it for years, actually. I've figured out how to do it for photo, but I do not understand how people get the really cool time lapses where the stars look like they're a bunch of lines crossing the sky. And I know you need to run your camera for a long time and realistically set it up to an external battery so that way it can continue to run like that. But settings wise, it has stumbled me so far. So maybe if anything, I'll get some cool pictures, but I would love to get that cool video. And I think maybe even like a GoPro time lapse. It's probably not a good enough sensor. So we'll see. If anything, I'm going to shoot for some photos, but we're got bed all set up. Getting Hank's bed all set up. We may just keep him in the cab tonight of Morgan's truck just because it's going to be pretty dang cold, and her cab is much more insulated. And we have the entire back seat of her truck basically laid down with he's got a bed in there. That's where he's very comfortable hanging out. So we may just leave him in there just because it'll retain heat a bit better. But he's always got a place at home in my truck bed if he so chooses. So cheers, y'all. Thank you for being here. Well, it may be leftovers, but with my YouTube viewers as my witness, I have prepared a dinner for the two of us. Mark it down on your calendars, mark it down in your journals. Connor has cooked the meal on this Colorado trip. That's right. I have done it. This morning our neighbors took off, so we took their spot. It was a better spot than our area over here, which was pretty dusty. It was, this area is a little more rocky, and over there, every time you took a step, it was just like dust plumed up into the air. So not to mention, it's right by the creek or the river, and it's just a little bit more of an open area and still stunning views. But today, Morgan and I just took the opportunity to chill. Well, by chill, I mean I edited a bunch because it's really hard to be filming and editing on the same days because it honestly gets really confusing in my head. So I took today to just edit the next video and also spent some time on the fly rod and caught my first trout on a fly rod.
Oh, you got one. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. Pull in the whole pole. Like bring the whole, like bring it, oh, like swing it towards me.
I got one.
You got one. And I got it on camera. Oh, how exciting.
Here, hold the
Pole.
All right, yes, I can eat it.
That's a beautiful fish. Wow, look at the coloring on him. He's beautiful.
First one on the fly.
Yeah. What a scene to get it at, too. Look at that.
Got one. And so did Morgan.
Oh. I got it!
What? Get him.
No!
Whoa.
Tree. Right here. Oh, nice. Buddy. Okay.
Oh, you got
I
it.
had one.
Just little baby trout here. We didn't keep any of them just because they're pretty small. I feel bad. There wouldn't be much of a meal for eating anyways. So now we're just enjoying the sunset and this down day. And then tomorrow we're headed up to the Alpine Lake and continuing our road trip towards Gunnison, which we're gonna find just another primitive spot somewhere out there. And it's gonna be hard to say goodbye to this spot because just these mountain views are stunning. Can't stop looking at them. Saw some deer earlier. It's just amazing. So that's what we got going on. And we're just gonna enjoy a nice night here at camp. Day 3 at this site, and like I said before, it's probably going to be the hardest spot to leave thus far, but we've got places to go and things to see, and we're going to head up the rest of this trail. We've done maybe 5 miles down this trail to basically this spot here, but there's maybe another mile of trail that we've yet to discover. So we're going to head to the end of the trail where There might be something even more beautiful. And then we're gonna basically make our way all the way back. And then instead of forking towards the pavement, we fork up towards a switchback trail that's probably a couple miles long and takes us up to the Alpine Lake. So that's the plan for this morning. Pack up the rigs, head up this trail towards this beautiful peak, come back, head up to the Alpine Lake. So come along. Got a little bit of a water crossing. Good way to start your morning. Well, we made it to the top. And there's a sign right over here that says horse and hikers only. So this is where we must turn around and go find our Alpine Lake. Morgan's just getting her truck in 4 low before we make our trek back. But right down there is our campsite. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. One for the books. So right in front of us up this mountain is a bunch of switchbacks, and that is the trail up to the lake. It's gonna be a rough one. Well, we just came down from that mountain over there, and now we're headed up the trail for what is called Clear Lake. Says that stock vehicles can make it, so Oregon was a little worried that it would be too challenging, but I think she's got it, and if we have to turn around, we of course will. But I think we're gonna make it up to this Alpine Lake, which I'm oh so excited for. Probably approaching the halfway point of this. It's pretty, I mean, it's not gnarly, but it's like, if you're afraid of heights, that might get you. Oh my gosh. Well, this is officially the, I think, highest point that my Tacoma has ever been. Just about 12,000 feet. We're up here at Clear Lake. What a stunning place to be. Absolutely 360 panoramic views. And Morgan, this isn't the highest place she's taken her truck because she took it on a paved section of Independence Pass. But this is surely the highest point I've driven my truck, especially in 4 low and off-road. So basically we're just gonna cook up some food, some breakfast that we've patiently been waiting for till we got to this spot. And before I turned the camera on, we were doing some fishing down here and actually had one trout on the fly rod, but got off just as I was pulling it in. So might do a little more fishing, but definitely coffee and breakfast first. Well, we've got some pretty gnarly weather rolling in, and it wasn't terribly tough getting up here, but if the trail is all wet, it'll certainly be a little bit more difficult with less traction. So I think we're gonna say goodbye to this place and head on towards Gunnison. But what a just absolutely beautiful area. A little bit of change of scenery. We are a lot further north, and it's incredibly windy. Just put that there. We are in an area of Gunnison called Hartman
Rocks.
Hartman Rocks.
It rocks.
It does rock. It's a really cool area. A lot of red dirt, red rocks, and just a great landscape. Very different from where we just came from. We drove. You tell them, where did we go today?
We drove up Highway 550, so we started back in Silverton, got air, gas, all that jazz, and then drove up the $1 Million Highway, which is US 550, went all the way up into Ouray, and then I believe Montrose was the last town that we hit. Sorry if that's wrong. And then we took US 50 over to Gunnison, and now we're here. Thank you, Campendium. Found some really good spots. Very windy.
Yeah, we've scoped out a spot a lot lower than where we are now in the same area, but the good thing, if you're traveling with 2 rigs and you find an open spot, put one person there, so that way, worst case scenario, you can secure that spot before someone else does. It's quite competitive out here during the summer. And then send the other person off. So Morgan held that first spot, and then I drove maybe another mile up to this spot, and just over the radio was like, hey, come up here. Now I'm like almost regretting it because of the wind, but I think it is supposed to die down.
Yeah.
Beer review. What are you drinking?
I have a vanilla porter from the Breckenridge Brewery. And I didn't even do this on purpose. You probably can't see, but it matches my outfit perfectly. There's green trees, and then this matches my sweater.
I've got like a Christmas theme going on.
You do.
And I have the Alaskan Amber alt style ale. Cheers.
Cheers.
To another camp spot that we didn't pay for.
Yeah.
Ooh, how is it?
Really very good.
Yeah.
I don't think you like yours.
No, I love mine. That's
Okay.
really good. Oh, those are both
That's
really good.
Yeah. I almost grabbed, so I don't drink a lot of beer just because I just don't really like to, like one's fine. So we went to the singles case first, and I almost grabbed a single of that. So then I saw you grab the 6-pack, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
That's
still
good.
get to try it.
Yeah, I like the darker beer, like very dark beer.
Yeah.
This is excellent.
You're not the biggest enthusiast, but you do like your brown ales.
I do. Yep.
So the plan is from here, we basically wanted to knock out half of our drive from
Silverton.
so many places, yes.
Yeah.
Silverton to Twin Lakes is our next kind of destination. And I don't even want to call it that because this is a freaking destination. But this was kind of a halfway point. It would have been about a 5.5 hour drive from where we camped last night and the last few days. And so we wanted to get at least part of the drive done, and that's why we landed here. In the next, I guess I'll break it to you now. We're going to be ending the video here, but don't click off yet. So in the next video, we're going to be up at Twin Lakes and then have some potential, especially if we have your family meeting pushed off a bit, maybe we'll have time to do Raleigh Mine. And now that you're a little bit more comfortable with the off-roading things, and I want you to tell everybody what your experience was. But first, we ended up not doing Ophir Pass and Engineer Pass, mainly because of the area that we ended up in was just so...
Total accident too? Total accident.
Well, kinda, yeah. It was, I think I mentioned it before, but one of the subscribers here hit me with some coordinates, and that was the reason we got to be in that beautiful place. So we ended up just loving it. and deciding to stay there, plus doing the Clear Lake trip, which was going to take a few hours. We just decided to not do the passes because honestly, I think what we saw and where we camped was even more beautiful than the passes. And I haven't been there, so I cannot say for certain, but it was stunning, that camp
Far
spot.
less people.
Yeah, a lot less people, less traffic, and yeah, I'm a foot jiggler. So, what did you think of off-roading today?
Yeah, it was a little bit more rugged than I think I was expecting, even just to get to the campsite. You know, you go past all the normal off-road campsites, and then you get the sign that says 4-wheel drive recommended, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And then there was a few parts Connor aired down on the way, which was smart, and I'm like, that's foolish, like we don't need to do that yet. We're going to, like, you know, campsites, it's not going to be that bad. It was that bad, and I almost immediately regretted.
It wasn't bad, it was just you weren't prepared.
No, it was so rocky though. Do you remember that there was that?
It was traversable. It wasn't. I wouldn't call it bad.
It was just bad with fully aired tires though. That's what I'm
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If you had aired down, it would have been a lot easier. And then, what do you think of the Clear Lake Trail today? Because I think that was definitely more challenging than getting to our camp spot.
Yeah, I thought it was very intimidating because when we were leaving our camp spot and we were kind of like coming down that mountain, you could see the big mountain in front of you and you could see all the switchbacks. And I'm like, oh my God, I think that's where we're going. I'm like, I can't do that. There's no way I can do this. I've never really off-roaded this truck. It was terrifying. But then like once we got started, I thought the switchbacks were going to be the worst part for me. I actually didn't mind any of those. None of them were like seemingly sketchy. I didn't think. There was one portion where a tree had fallen down when you were going uphill on the driver's side, and then the passenger kind of like dipped down, and it was like basically cliff edge.
Yeah, you were leaning towards the cliff, which is it's always an uncomfortable position to be in, and
I just feel like this truck is so wide.
It is. It's not as I told her a million times today. It's not as wide as you think.
Yeah.
And when we were going up today, we saw a ton of full-size trucks, like Fords. There's a guy in a Raptor that was flying up.
Like an 8-foot bed Super Duty.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And there's a freaking like Audi Quattro. It had no business being up on that mountain with those low profile tires.
Yeah.
Didn't make it all the way. Yeah. But
yeah, overall though, like it wasn't as bad as I thought. There was one portion we were like 0.3 miles from the top. You could basically see where we were going to park. And my biggest fear that I just can't get around with this truck is I can't see over the hood very well. And I did get to a point where I moved my seat up like this, so it was uncomfortable to sit in, but I could at least see over more. And I radio Connor, and I'm like, Connor, I literally can't see. And you were kind of going up like this, and then you had to drop down. But as you were dropping down, you also went around a corner and cliff edge. So I'm like, if I don't land right, I could just do this. And he was on the radio. He's like, yep, hold your tires here. Okay, now do this, now do this. And fortunately it was fine. But that was the point. I actually did radio him, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't keep going. That was like almost started to cry. I didn't cry, but I almost started to.
I just looked at my rear view, and she's just dead center in the middle of the trail with her tires pointed the correct direction. I'm like, go forward. Her truck doesn't move. I'm like, you got this. Just roll forward. Truck doesn't move. I'm like, you can do it. You're going the right way. And then finally she started inching forward. But I've definitely been in that situation. I would say actually in Tennessee, I've done a lot more rugged wheeling. I've put this truck through the paces out there, and we've done some climbs where you're a lot more vertical than we were today. And my truck is small. I can easily see over the hood, but there's been moments where I've been like that, where I'm like, I'm looking up at the sky and I know we have to hook either left or right, and it goes down, and it's just super sketchy. But today was, that was a good entry level, like, it puts you into a comfort zone with the altitude. And once you kind of forget that there's a massive cliff, you're just driving down a dirt road. It's really all it is.
Yeah, the way down was great. Like, I asked him to go before me. So I'm like, when we get to that tree spot again, because now it's going to be on my driver's side that I'm going to feel tippy on. I'm like, can you just like stop in front so that you can kind of help walk me through it? And we just flew right past it. I'm like, was that the tree? And he's like, no, I don't think so. And we kept going, and we were like not flying. We were doing like maybe 8 miles
you go
an
a lot
hour.
faster down than up.
Yeah, but it went really well. And there was no like creepy spot for me on the bottom.
Yeah. So all in all, phenomenal few days of camping. I love that we haven't paid for a campsite. In the next video, we're going to be headed up to Twin Lakes, where we did pay for a campsite, but Morgan has set the expectations quite high, so I'm excited to get out there and check it out. And then these videos are a lot. I hope you guys appreciate how much work goes into it, filming wise and editing wise. So
He edits these for like hours.
I think the last
Hours
one
and
took
hours.
me 10 to 12 hours to do. And then that's in between what we're doing and also like traveling and camping and everything, but then also meanwhile filming the next video. So really trying to put these videos out for you guys. If you guys would be so kind to leave a thumbs up, or if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as part of the family. And in the next video, I want to set the expectations. I think now that we've been on the road for about a week and a half, by the time that video comes out, it'll be about 2 weeks. I want to do a sit down similar to this where we go over what gear was not necessary, what gear was absolutely crucial, tips for doing this type of trip, and we'll just kind of break things down, because now that we have not slept in a true bed or had proper showers in
Almost a week.
a week or so, I mean, I think we have some useful information that I didn't know going into this trip, because this is certainly the longest road trip I've done strictly camping out of a vehicle. So look forward to that. And as always, guys, I appreciate you for being here and watching these videos. I love the comments. I write back on every single one of them. And we'll see you in the next one. Keep elevating, my friends. I love you. All right. Watch none of that audio be usable.